music.
Yeah.
Can't have that, man.
You can't because you can't even monetize it.
Yeah.
So what do you say? Hi, we're live, and I'm here with, we are actually at Kappa Studios, which they're right on the top of this building space. And I'm here with Simplicity Films, John Luke, who we just toured Kappa, and we were talking about filmmaking, finishing, and Echelon Studios selling. And this is my wonderful friend, Laurel Koenig from Echelon Studios. And you guys have seen our films on Tubi, on I think we have something on Amazon and some other places. They're the ones who are screaming it for us. And we're just talking about finishing your film and the power of making sure you finish well. So just quickly, tell us, Laurel, what is selling right now? And I know we talked about a lot of things upstairs, but what should people be focused on doing when they want to produce and create content that you guys can actually pick up and sell, or distributors can sell?
Okay, well, there's a market for any genres out there. So it's not like you have to have a specific genre. What sells, what's really hot are action films, horror films, but also rom-coms are coming back. So, they've been very strong. So the one thing I would say is make sure that you're doing a feature. People come to me with something, well, I've got a short that I'd like you to distribute. I go, well, how long is it? They'll tell you 8 minutes. Well, most of your platforms aren't going to take anything under about 28 to 30 minutes. So that's what you want to kind of shoot for if you're looking at making a short. Anything over 45 is considered a feature. You don't necessarily have to have name actors in it, although they help. But there's a lot of good actors out there who are very talented, and you should take a look at some of those because that's going to keep the cost of your production down. So I don't know what else you want to know.
How would you answer the question?
What was the question?
How many people, I mean, what should filmmakers be doing right now when they're looking to release their film? What kind of content should filmmakers be creating, storytellers, creating that is viable to growth and to their brand?
I would say, do your research. Go IMDb Pro and find out which movies are #1 in the last 6 months. Find out what's really hot. Find out what's really selling. And once you know what that is, then you can try to do content that's around that. Because movie making is more like it's a business at the end of the day. Yeah, whether the movie is good or bad, it's all about, is it going to make money or not? Is it making money or not? It's all about business. But yeah, do your research. A lot of people don't do their research. They just jump into it. And, I get it, trial and error, but this is a business. You have to do the paperwork and check things out and know what's available. Yeah.
So let's quickly go into post, and which is one of the reasons I came out here. Post, editing, getting your film finished for selling. And I'm going to ask that question to Echelon Studios. What quality are you looking for when you're getting content from independent filmmakers? Tell us the level of important, the key things that are important in post that a lot of filmmakers are missing when you get films, especially in presenting them. I sent you a film the other day. Sometimes how even they present it to you to view it makes it difficult for you to select a film or help them. So talk to me a little bit about post.
When I first start looking at a film for acquiring it for Echelon, I will watch at least the first 15 minutes of the film. If nothing happens in the first 15 minutes, it's not worth it because people aren't going to watch it. Most of your public these days are getting their entertainment through the VOD platforms on television. They're not going to the movie theaters, because they're not going to spend that kind of money. But they want to see something that is going to attract them and is going to catch them in the first 10 minutes of the film. The other thing you want to look at is, to get something up on a platform, you need to have good artwork. A good poster, a good landscape, because that's what's going to attract somebody. If you've ever gone onto one of the platform like Tubi or Momi2 or Roku, and you're paging through the films they have there, if the artwork isn't good, you're not going to be apt to click on it. So that's got to be one of the things that you really have to look at to get your film up, because most of your platforms these days are what's called advertise-based or AVOD platforms. They're the ones where you're going to see ads every 7 to 10 minutes. Now, doesn't mean you have to sit there and watch the ad. That's when I usually get up and go get a new drink or grab a snack. But people are going to want to go through there, and they're going to want to see a film that's going to say, yeah, I think that film looks interesting. I want to click on that film because the artwork looks good. It's something that's going to attract your viewer.
Yeah. What say ye to quality of content when people are doing posts? What do you look for as a director when you're finishing a project that needs to go for sale? What are some of the key things that filmmakers should keep in mind? Producers, actors, editors, especially just coming from Kappa Studios.
There's a thing called QC, quality control. Your film has to go through this quality control process to make sure that it has all the requirements, to be on a live stream like Netflix or anything else. Story, it's all about storytelling. I've seen, being in the game for 30 years, I've seen all kind of 35, 65 millimeter, regular, HD or whatever, 4K, 5K. Nowadays, none of that matters. What really matters is be able to tell your story in a way where your sound is good, it looks good, it sounds good, and it's edited good. Editing is one of the major part of the process, but you need good content to edit. You can't really make miracles in the edit suite if you don't have good stuff that's been shot. So there's only so much you can do with editing. But storytelling, it's always about storytelling. Be able to captivate an audience. I don't care if you shot it on a VHS camera. Doesn't really matter. What matters is, can you tell a story visually that's captivating enough to interest people, entertain people. We in the entertainment industry. And also too, I want to say this about the word show business. You know what I mean? It means show your business. You understand? A lot of people don't know how to show their business. If you know how to show your business, you'll become successful. I've seen people take, an iPhone and make a movie with it. There's really no excuses. All you need is preparation, organization. You have to be organized. If you don't have any money, the best you can do is be organized. Because at least organization will help you get you close to where you need to be.
All right, so one more question before we get out of here. Would we consider content creators as the next level? What is going to happen next in the world of filmmaking and content creation? What should we be expecting? What should people be looking to get into? What are some of the new things that we shouldn't miss? Especially with the strike, coming from the strike, 2024 and beyond. You talked about one of the biggest film festivals that people sell, or acquisition festivals, moving to Vegas. What's the next thing that folks should be looking for that want to create content, distribute and sell it? Paying attention to, especially with the industry and trends and things like that. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I'll reiterate what John Luke said. You need to have a good story. You have to have a script that is going to grab somebody, is going to interest people. It can be any genre. You said it can be action, it can be horror, it can be a rom-com, it can be faith-based. But the story has to be good, but it needs to grab people in the first 10 minutes of the film. Otherwise, people are just going to turn it off. They're not going to watch it. And since most of your platforms these days are advertised-based, and it's through watching the ads that the revenue is generated, if you're not going to have them be able to sit there and watch a whole film and be able to put up with the ads, there's no point in it. So, because people aren't going to go to the theaters and pay that kind of money, to buy a ticket when they can watch almost the same movie on a VOD platform in the comfort of their own home.
All right, say the question again so that way I can...
So, it's, what's happening next for filmmakers? What should filmmakers be looking to do, the future of filmmaking? You said something during this trip, Hollywood is dead, and there's a lot of things about what that means for independent filmmakers to step. I even asked Laurel earlier, what happened during the strike? She said they were still selling films because independents are making films. Content creators are still creating, regardless of whether the industry packed up in Hollywood or not. So what is your message, because this is the last question, to anyone out there looking to creating content? What's your, advice for them moving forward?
Okay.
Outside of what you've already said.
Okay, well, the type of technology that we have today, it's not. It's more advanced than we had 20 years ago. So what does that mean? It means you have more, technology, more, tools to work with. Where back then you have to have a lot of money, especially editing a movie. It's still expensive, but technology made it to a point where you could get a software, of editing software for free, and then you edit yourself and learn. That's how I did it. 30 years ago, I used to, pay people to edit my reel. I paid a lady $1,000 just to do a 2-minute reel, demo reel. And the reason I paid her because she had all the system, and she knew how to do it, and I didn't. So, also too, the cinemas. I tell you what, the next 2 years, there's not gonna be no more movie theaters. They're gonna shut them all down. It's going down. Everything right now is live stream. And I would say content is king. Okay, you don't have to make a 2-hour movie trying to fit in on a cell phone. You can make like a 10 minutes film, short films, as long as you have good content.
So
Right.
you can't put it anywhere.
Right. So, but make films.
Yeah, you can make films, but you have to be realistic in the length of the film you're doing. Something like a 10-minute short, you're not going to find platforms that are going to put it up unless you have a producer who may have 3 or 4 10-minute shorts. Then we can actually stitch them together into a film that we can put up, and say, it's horror films from so-and-so director. So you can do it that way. But to actually do it, you want something at least 28 to 30 minutes long if you're going to be a short. But if you're going to make money, you've got to remember that if you're going to put ads in every 7 to 10 minutes, and that's where your revenue is being generated, you need something that's going to be 45 minutes, an hour and 15, to be able to get the ads in there to be able to generate the revenue that you're going to need in order to make your money back.
Also, too, as a distributor, let me ask you this. A lot of people made a lot of mistakes when it comes to get their film distributed because they'll show up with a package and they don't have any release form for the actors. Have you ever run into these type of issues where you can't distribute a film because the package is not organized? They don't have release form for the actors. They just have to film. They don't have any type of paperwork, saying that this is their film. These shorter productions, QC and all that, and they expect a distribution deal. Can you explain to them how important that is to have all your paperwork, together before you approach a distributor?
Well, as a producer, you actually need to have that paperwork together because it's covering your butt, so to speak. Because you don't want an actor coming back to you later and saying, you put me on here, I'm out here on this platform, where'd it come from? You need to have the paperwork as a producer. As a distributor, we don't necessarily need to look at that picture, because we have things in our contract that but protects us and protects the producer as well, so that they can't come over after us for anything and we can't go after them for anything. So, as a producer, you should have that. But you don't actually, it's not something that we actually need.
Right. Also, too, can you explain to people how important it is before they approach a distributor to go to that distributor's website and get all the information, know what the distributor is looking for, and know what are the do's and don'ts, things like that, because sometimes you only get one chance, right? One meeting, one opportunity, and if you don't come correct, it can kill the whole deal.
Yeah, well, like with Echelon, we have a website. It's www.echelonstudios.us. You can go on there, you can see we've been around for 20 years. We have a library of almost 20,000 titles, and we're constantly acquiring new product to be able to get out, because that's what keeps the product going, which keeps the platforms going and keeps our business going. So but you do need to check out your distributor, because there are a lot of them who will give you, promise you the world. And when it gets right down to it, they don't follow through. They'll give you, an unrealistic revenue share split. But then they end up taking a lot of fees and stuff out of it. Echelon doesn't do that. When we say give you a contract, once you give us the deliverables, there should be no other cost to you. And that's the kind of distributor you want, who's going to do that. We also work with a great PR company out of London. So we are constantly on our social media pages, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You'll find that we are constantly posting and pushing the films that we are acquiring. So you want somebody who's going to do that, but not charge you for it, because that comes out of what our part is. We have a very reasonable split. It's a 60-40 split. 60 the producer, 40 that we keep, but that also covers all of our overhead. So with the 60%, once you've delivered us what we need for deliverables, there's no other cost to you. So you're not going to find that with a lot of other distributors.
Also, one more. I'm sorry, maybe later. Can you talk about how people just would send scripts to the distributor, expecting the distributor to give them funds to make their movies? Can you tell them like there's some rules what to send in or not to send anything in, or
Well, the one thing I have to tell you is it's probably a little deceiving with our title of our company being Echelon Studios. We are not a studio, we're not a production company, we're not an agent. But when we do get letters and from people who are trying to find production, they all come through me. I answer them very upfront, explaining to them, but that once you have production, you have a produced film, you have a completed film, come back to me, because I'll be happy to talk about distribution with you. But like I said, not every production company is a distributor. Not every distributor is a production company. So you need somebody who's going to be upfront with you right from the beginning and tell you, this is what we can do for you, this is what we can't. If you've got a project that looks very promising, talk to me about doing a letter of intent to distribute, because that way help you raise the funds to make your movie, and then come back to me and we can get it distributed and get it up on the platforms and out to the public.
Another thing is having that sales projection sheet. A lot of distribution companies can offer you something based on projects that are similar to what you've done and the budget you're spending. They can create some type of sales projection sheet that will help you with funding.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not anymore.
Well, because it's not theater based anymore, but
yeah, because now that your stuff is going out on, now that your content's going out on via new platforms, there's no way, especially when you're talking about an ad-based platform, because the revenue is generated through watching the ads and the ads playing in the film. That's where the money comes from. There's no way to predict that, because it's all based on viewership. There's also subscription-based or SVOD. But the thing is, with something like that, say you might talk about something like Netflix, where they're charging $9.99 a month. And if somebody goes in there and watches a different movie every single night of the month, that's 30 movies. And that $9.99 gets split between all the movies that somebody's watched. So again, you're not really going to make any money. You've got things that are like TVOD, which are like Amazon, where you're paying a fee up front to watch the movie, and they say you have to pay 99 cents or $4.99 or whatever. But even then, most of your revenue you're going to find is going to be generated through AVOD platforms. So there's no way to predict what a movie's going to make.
all right. So final question of the day. What are some of the best platforms you guys are working with at Echelon Studio that are taking independent filmmakers' content and paying out well?
Tubi, Roku, a relatively new platform called Mometu. It's MOMETU.com. Those are all ad-based. We work with Plex, we work with Apple, we work with all the Amazons. So we work with a lot of different types of platforms. But the big ones right now are the AVOD platforms.
And we'll share that screen, because I have a link where she's shared what kind of platforms, Vudu, all the platforms. You could be on multiple platforms, Pluto, when your content is released. And we are a good production company that can help you bring folks like Simplicity Films on and help you just kind of understand the process from beginning, from script to screen, and help you bring on a good team that can help with distribution. So is there any final words you'd like to share with our viewers?
I just wish everybody the best of luck. If you have a dream, pursue it. Go after it. Make your film, because there is a market for everything. And as long as you've got good talent, you've got good behind the camera crew, and you've got great production value, good locations, that's is going to get you a good distribution deal.
Oh, I have a question for you. It's a distribution question, sorry. If a filmmaker, let's say the filmmaker has a potential investor, right? But that investor wants to see a LOI which is a letter of intent from the distributor company, so that way they can feel comfortable investing in their movie. Do you provide those that LOI or no?
She said yes.
Absolutely. I mentioned that earlier. That yes, a letter. We would give you a letter of intent. Looks like a good project that I think will do well out in the market. We'd be happy to give you an LOI or a letter of intent to distribute, so that you can go then to possible investors and say, okay, I got distribution in place. That's how you're going to get your money back. So we've gotten that step taken care of, and that's a way to get people to be wanting to invest money into your project.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Our live was good. We have some photos from being at Kappa, or at least being at the exterior. We're not able to film inside of Kappa today, but they took us on a wonderful tour. If you need a good post house to do post production, they did Chosen, God's Not Dead, and many other good Christian films. They're Christian based, or at least a religious based editing house, faith based editing house. There are many others like that. You need a good editing team, because if they don't get past all those problems, you can't even talk to distribution. And so contact us if you need any help with any of these questions. I will look forward to helping you make your film at Chichi Movies. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Nice. Well, that was